You're now listening to the Palmetto Dugout Show, hosted by State Director Sammy Esposito, Associate Scouts Drew Stewart and Sean Smith, that discuss all things related to amateur baseball in South Carolina. Here are your hosts.
Welcome into episode 25 of the Palmetto Dugout Show. I'm Drew Stewart here with Sammy Esposito. What's going on, Coach?
Coach, how we doing today? Everything going all right? You guys survived getting back to school over there?
Well, it wasn't getting back to school. It was that 20-hour day we had on Saturday. For some of us, not for all of us, especially the ride back, it felt like it was 14 of the 20 hours. But we made it. I'm still standing here.
Great entertainment.
It was fantastic entertainment. I'm sure he'll be listening to this on his car ride in the morning. So shout out to Austin Smith there. So, hey, I'm really excited for this show. One of the biggest events we've had in a while with preseason All-State South. Over 100 kids in attendance, and a lot of them being studs throughout this great state we have. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So I'll start us off here, Coach.
Fire away. Have at it. You can start to crank this thing up.
Wish we could talk about all these guys, but we cannot. But we got a good bit we're talking about, each of us. So I'm going to start off with kind of a general thing here. Lucy Beckham High School. They had, I think they had 6 to 7 kids at the event Saturday. Each one of them looked very well. So we're excited to see those guys come for our Shipyard preseason tournament here in beginning of March. But they're really good players. Nothing that just completely stood out, but they got the job done, especially Levi Schrock, 2026. I mean, he hopped on the mound 79 to 81. So they're going to be a really fun team to watch at the beginning of March to see how they compete with some of those teams in that tournament.
No doubt. I'll give their coach credit down there. He had kind of reached out to me, back at the end of the fall and was kind of asking, what are some ways that, his players can kind of help get some pub and get their name out there. And that was, that's one thing that, for us that we've talked about before. Obviously the help of the high school coaches is tremendous here in the state of these guys trying to help their players out. And, he had reached out and I said, hey, we're going to be down your way. So we'd love to have him out. So, we applaud the coach down there for helping us out and getting his guys out to our event this weekend. Like you said, it was fun to watch those guys.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, but I'll kind of crank it up individually here while you're, kind of going in the group effort there. But, the first talk about a pitcher for me, Thayer Tavermina, who came in. We had gotten a chance to watch him, in the high school season last year, a big name in the state and very impressive young man. Right-hander, was up to 86, 87 miles an hour. But, the one thing for him, in his brief bullpen for us, really filled up the zone with a ton of movement, right? It's a fastball with really nothing straight to it, threw 2 good breaking balls, threw a changeup, right? His max velo on the day was 86.7, but that effective velocity was 84 miles an hour. So it's holding its line all the way in there. And he was just a young man that was extremely impressive on the day. We were excited when we saw his name sign up. We exchanged some messages in there over that one, but he came out and did not disappoint. And we're really looking forward to watching him this high school season playing for Somerville.
Yeah, no doubt. Was really excited to see him get on the mound at preseason All-State South. So I'm gonna ask you a question, Coach. Is 90 mile an hour bat speed good?
I'd say it's pretty good. I think we can agree that's pretty solid, right? I mean,
okay, well, hey, that's what you get with Jason Nash, 2024 catcher from Richland Northeast. Kind of surprised us all when he stepped in the box. He needs to refine some things, but if he can refine it, he's going to be a really good guy in high school and maybe later on. But we see the bat speed. His hands are loose, and he's got a lot of upper half strength made for power, and he was driving balls at Shipyard that I haven't seen drove in a long time. But he's going to be one to watch at Richland Northeast this coming high school season.
Yeah, he was fun to be around, too. He was out there trying to get some work in the infield, too, and kind of threw a couple away or whatever, and he's like, Coach, I ain't played infield in a while. I'm like, you're all right, man. Don't worry about it. You show off that bat speed in there.
That's right.
It don't really matter. Kind of clean up a few things. Staying on the pitching side for me, a left-hander, Diego Patrick from from down there at the coast. We got a chance to watch Diego. He came to Carolina Ray Scout Day earlier in the fall. Glad to see him back. It's a long, loose, athletic frame. Was up to 80, 81 miles an hour, showed some kind of more sinker ball or spin, keeping that ball down in the zone, but a lot of projection in this young frame, kind of, fills it up, throws 3 different pitches, kind of mix it in there. So Diego, one for us that we got a chance to kind of get a small glimpse on early in the fall, was able to get back and see him again. And also, swing the bat, two-way guy, kind of chance moving forward, but obviously being left-handed on the mound, that kind of where you think his future is going to be.
Hop over to a guy we've seen a lot, has really improved since last time we've seen him, and that is RJ Groomster, 2025 from Hillcrest. He came out, looked really good in BP. He ran a sub 6.9, which is better than I think we've seen him before. I think he wanted to run it again, and I think he kind of was disappointed with the second time. But hey, 6.9, that'll do right now. That'll do, coach. So he shows quickness with the hands. Hands are really quick. His bat speed was up there in the 80s. He's added weight to his frame since we've seen him. Since I last saw him, I think it was the Diamond Invitational during the high school season. So he's improved a lot. We saw the ball flying off the bat a lot more than we have, and he's going to be another exciting one to watch, especially since he's in my area here. So it'll be exciting to get to see him this spring build off of what he just did at preseason All-State South.
Yeah, definitely. You hit on the head. He was fun to watch. I mean, we got a chance to watch him a few times, and sometimes for some of these younger guys, not fair or unfair, however it goes, right? He was playing a little bit as an 8th grader in a state championship 5A team up
really
there.
Good team.
Hillcrest, and year 2, you lofty expectations, but he's obviously his stock's going in the right direction. For me, I'm gonna stick again on that left-handed pitching side. Jake Klein, 2024 from down there in Oceanside. Jake's came to an open ID last winter, and there's another guy that's progressing the right way. It's a low slot lefty, but it's in that low 80s range, and kind of that tough angle, that tough slot, get some run, get some sink to that ball. Kind of some good looseness in that arm, so you can kind of see a little bit. It's kind of spins a breaking ball with a good changeup in there. So Jake's kind of guy, you see him right off the bat, and you go, that guy's going to give a lot of hitters a lot of fits, right? Yeah. It's not the power arm or anything in there, but it's left-handed with a little bit of a lower slot with a little bit of funk to it. So he was very impressive on the mound, left-hander out there, and he's going to be tough in that lineup at Oceanside, but I think that left-handed arm coming out of the bullpen can be able to give some hitters some fits.
Hey, we got those land sharks, baby. Hey, he's another one that's been improved since we've last seen him. A lot of these guys that we've seen have gotten a lot better since we last saw him, which takes me right into my next one, our junior future guys. With States Farr, Hudson Clark, and Braden Hallman. We'll talk about States here at the end of this little quickie. So you look at these guys when we had them back in August, you kind of look at them now like, who is that guy? Like, you've gotten a lot bigger. Braden Hallman's a great example. He was one of those kids who he checked in. I'm like, do I know you? He's changed so much, which is great for those guys, as they were great for us back in August, and they're still showing out now at preseason All-State South. So it's going to be fun to follow those guys' journey, as we hope all those guys are committed, since we technically had the best junior futures team. So
unofficially, but yeah, we can claim it. There's we were looking out for the safety of those guys. Yeah, Hallman goes out there and he's like 3 ground balls in, and I go, wait a minute, I didn't even recognize you. but yeah, hit it on the head. So kind of sticking on that 24 train, Jackson Burton, a right-handed pitcher, outfielder from Lexington High School. Kind of impressed, two-way guy, kind of a strong athletic frame, shows a quick, loose arm. 83, 84 in the day, but spun a good breaking ball and a changeup. Kind of, a good one to follow coming out of there, that Lexington program. Coach Hucks does a good job pumping guys out of there and always going to be in contention to win, but showed good action on all those pitches and the field to spin a breaking ball. You'd be able to get that and throw strikes at the high school level with some good stuff that he's got. You plan to have him get some good success. And obviously they got to replace a few things there at Lexington, but you expect him to be able to pop in there, and also can kind of swing the bat and play in the outfield and kind of run around and do a bunch of different things. But he'll look to have him helping out the Wildcats this spring.
Hey, coach, might have the best pitching coach in the country. Watch out now.
You know, he might be the best blast guy in the country too if you put those together.
Oh yeah. Hey, I want to talk about a guy that's been to some previous events. I liked him from the first time we saw him down at Spartan Scout Day. That is Justin Sheffield, 2025 from Conway High School. Bat speed was over 80. His exit velo came in at 94. Hit a ball 347 feet. But the biggest thing with him is he's oozing with athleticism. You see it all over the field. He previously, when we seen him to where we see him now at preseason All-State, he was taking some big aggressive hacks, which we haven't seen him do as much. So it was fun to see him again. He is a very quiet kid, which is sometimes great. Especially in a job like I have before PBR. But hey, it was great to watch him and can't wait to see him. I know he's going to be good for Conway this coming year.
Yeah, no doubt. I remember we were talking about it earlier. I remember when we saw him at that first scout day and we were like, who's this guy?
Yep.
You know, kind of stood out in the right way. But kind of staying down there at the coast, down at Georgetown High School, we got Matthew Mitchell, kind of a right-handed pitcher, two-way guy as well. But you know, Matthew, saw him earlier at Scout Day down at the beach, but he, you know, he's kind of a little bit of funky. He's got two slots up top, down low, you know, up to 84, you know, over the top, and was 76, 74 from down low, but he kind of got a slurvy breaking ball with the changeup. You know, he kind of gets up top more with a curveball and so some good depth and sharpness to him, but swings the bat as well. But it's kind of a little bit, you know, uncomfortable at bat, you know, right-handed, you get in there, be able to throw with those two different slots. You don't really know as a hitter what you're looking for, you know, so he'll have a chance to really help out Georgetown coming in. And I know those guys are, you know, we won't get a chance to see them early on when they're playing another preseason tournament, but we'll get definitely a chance to track them down this spring and watch Georgetown play. But he'll be a big cog in that lineup and also on the mound for those guys.
Yeah, no doubt. Georgetown boy. Way down there.
Paper mill smell down there out of the way.
Oh, that's right. The best smell. That's right. When we rolled into Charleston, Austin's like, what's that smell? I'm like, you're approaching the paper mill, son. I'm going to hop over to probably one of the biggest winners of the day, and that is 2024, Brody Linker from Crescent High School. Mm-hmm. I'd seen him previously, gotten a lot bigger since I've last seen him. He 6'3", 180, with a lot more room to put in that frame. He showed up. I know he pitches. He didn't pitch Saturday, but his hitting took care of everything. Hitting and fielding took care of everything he needed to for the day. Upper 90s exit velocity with a max of 99. And then across the infield, I had looked at Lever. I said, watch this right here. He throws that first pitch. I said, Lever, what was that? 91. I was like, I told you. So he throws 91, and it's not with crow hops now. He just firing darts over first base. So I know he's going to be really good for Crescent coming up, and a college is going to get a steal with him. So it's going to be interesting to see him as well as on the mound this high school season. Maybe we'll see him face against Jacob McGovern, the Clemson commit, this season. So we'll see.
Ooh, big time matchup up there in the upstate. See what's going on. See who comes out of there. Another guy, kind of another winner for me that's kind of stood out. We've got a chance to watch him a couple of times, and it's another one that we've talked about the improvements. Corbin Martins, you know, 2025 from down in Wando. He really, with the bat, he really stood out. And it's a young man, you know, where's he going to play in the field? Who knows? Only time's going to tell. He's still young, but it's a big, strong frame, long and loose, and it's big time power. Max exit velo is up to 98 miles an hour, but he shows some short, you know, quick bat speed in there. But he also gets on the mound, and on the day, you know, it's early in the, you know, late in the winter, and, you know, high school season, and you start off, and it's big frame up to 82, you know, kind of with a higher slot. So, you know, I think the sky's the limit for him. And, you know, obviously with that bat, that swing, you know, you usually see a lot of young guys that got some power, they get some length in there, but he showed off a good short swing, showing that power, being able to drive the ball to all fields on the day. And, you know, it's not always, you know, we're playing on that big college field down there, hitting on there in the Shipyard, and he's rattling balls off the fence and hitting a couple outs. So he showed some big power. So he'll be fun to continue to watch. We'll get a chance to watch those guys early on down in the Shipyard preseason tournament. So it'll be fun to see how Corbin continues to roll this spring.
The Wando Warriors, always fun to watch. Wando, especially with the dudes they have. They were really good last year. Going to be really good this year again, which I think you're going to talk about another one here coming up. So, hey, stay tuned here. I'm going to talk about an arm right here. I don't usually talk about arms, you know that. But immediately when this guy got on the mound, I was like, this guy's going to be pretty good. And before we even started the show, I had made Sammy guess on who I was talking about, and this is the name he brought up. That is, hold on, Coach. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
Ready, Coach?
Let's hear it.
James Patterson, 2024 from Pinewood Prep. He got up there, and you're like, okay, it's a big kid. Sneaky, really sneaky, low 3/4, and he was firing it in the zone. Fastball was 80, but snuck up on you. So it's going to look like it's 84, 85. Just from the slot he was at, he's able to hide it well. Changeup came in at about, at about 70. But he also threw a sinker in there at 77 that had good movement too, with late movement. So he's going to be really good to watch. It's a deceptive arm slot he's throwing from, which will get a lot of outs in high school baseball, especially some different hitters. So it's going to be fun to watch him. Hopefully we'll get to see him this high school season.
No doubt. Like you're talking about, I'm gonna stay on that Wando train, another 2025.
Choo-choo!
A couple youngsters down here, but Max Whitmer, two-way guy, and to me a true two-way guy right now.
Yeah.
Again, only time will tell where his future is going to be. But on the mound it was 84, 85, and the one good thing, you show some velo, whatever, but it was 16 and a half inches of horizontal movement. So showed some movement in there, showed a good slider at 74, 75, good downward action, and really threw a good changeup, tunneled off that fastball at around 79. And it's really good athleticism on the mound. It's not a power arm movement. It's located him well, shows good deception in there with some good athleticism, but also at the plate, right? Really 2+ rounds with the bat, swung it well. Line drive after line drive after line drive, consistent barrels, consistent contact the whole time. Then also behind the plate as a catcher, really threw the ball well. Ball comes out, good athleticism back there, good flexibility. So Max is a fun one for me to watch. We've gotten a chance to watch him a little bit over the years, but he'll continue to progress and kind of see how he goes. I think somebody's going to get them a really good one at the next level going into college when he gets there. I know he's still got some time, but Max will be a good one. So we'll get a chance to watch him right off the bat too this preseason.
I love that, man. Look at all these kids we get to see in the well, I can't say that. I was about to say something, but I don't want to say that either. That would be a little off that comment. But anyway, I got another one for you, Coach. I know you love him. I love him too. And that is 2024 middle infielder Oakley Aguilar from P27 Academy. Switch hitting kid, a lot of athleticism, can swing it from both sides of the plate. So the EV's not high. I mean, it's at 90, not great, but not bad. So he's hitting the ball distance was 318 max, but he's going to be one of those line drive hitters, puts it in the gap and takes a few bases extra, which is what you love to have. He is a gritty kid, which we saw in the infield, smooth feet, smooth hands, which we've seen over previous events. And he's always fun to have in an event because of the athleticism you see in the field and at the box.
No doubt. He's always been, it's fun to watch him move around out there and catch some ground balls, right? It's really
natural
easy for him. Very natural with him. I'm staying in that 25 area down here and staying down there at the beach with James Allen, 2025 Stowe Rogers. Stowe Rogers, very physical young man. It kind of sticks out. He's 6'2", 192 pounds. Really swung the bat well. It was up to almost 93 miles an hour, 330 max distance, but just kind of see more in there, see more in that tank, more in their tank, getting more consistent with the bat. Threw the ball well. I think he was right around, average around a 2-0, a little under a 2-0 down to 1-9 to 2-0 down there to second. Ball comes out clean, but he's these guys get on the circuit so early, you're like, you forget they're still young. So he's obviously, a young guy, second year of high school, that especially that size, right? You expect him to keep getting stronger and progressing, and that athleticism playing out. seen him being a big, strong right-handed power hitter in the future that can really sit back there in the box and catch and throw with the best of them. So Stowe's a young man that I expect to not be on the board for much longer when it's all said and done with that size and athleticism.
James Allen, I remember watching him play preseason Shipyard tournament. It was really good in that tournament as well. And guess what? They're coming back, Coach.
They're
coming
baby.
back. They're back. And maybe James Allen makes the cut for the Power 25, which will be coming out here soon. So we'll see, Coach.
Wait a minute. Have to wait and see.
Have to wait and see. That's another day coming up. So that'll take me to my next guy, 2025 from Daniel High School, and that is Spencer Kahn, catcher. But here's the thing. He's also improved since we've last seen him. I think we last saw him at the border battle at UNC Charlotte. Big physical kid. He was hammering balls in BP up to 94 exit velocity, which that's higher than I think we've seen before. Pop times were pretty good behind the plate. So he'll need to refine that game a little bit, but he's getting a lot better at the plate with a lot more juice. Ball was shooting off the bat. So he's going to be another one to watch at Daniel, which I'm excited to see because he's got a good bloodline, says his brother is at Clemson right now for football and baseball.
I really think you probably liked him more than anything because of his cleats he was wearing.
Well, those cleats. Hey, his cleats were nice. There was also another kid that had those similar cleats on, Coach. Can you remember who that was?
Something with the Sterling Cokes.
I think it started with an S. I just couldn't remember.
You know what? I'm just going to roll right into Sterling Coaxum right here. Kind of cover him.
Look at that transition.
2026 down in Oceanside, and it'll be interesting. Sterling is a Tiger commit, Clemson Tiger commit. It'll be real interesting this spring. Obviously, a loaded lineup down there in Oceanside to kind of see where he gets in, but Sterling oozes athleticism. It's 5'11", 160 pounds. It was a 6'7", 260. And I know he was a little upset about that. Thought he's run a little bit better, but we joked with him a little bit afterwards. Not everybody runs their best time every single time out. And the great Brandon Hall explained to him. Does Usain Bolt run his best 100 every single time? So, he was fun to watch. We're excited when we got his registration come through, one of the top 26, not only in our state, but in the country. And, with the bat, it was very, very easy, quick, strong bat speed was up to basically 97 mile an hour exit velocity, dropping balls 343 feet.
Is that good, Coach?
I think it's pretty good, especially for, somebody who's never played a varsity game. I think we'll sign up for that one. I think probably me and you both probably couldn't hit a ball 343 right now.
I don't think I can hit a ball 34 feet.
but it was very athletic, right? You look at the outfield, he ran around. It was pretty easy, the smooth. Arm strength's going to continue to increase as he's getting up there. I'm gonna go here and break it down a little bit more, and I'm gonna look at the jump. Trying to look at his jump scores a little bit over here, a little bit off. Can't find him right now, but he ran well. He jumped well. I think his high-end running speed was over 21 miles an hour. We gauged there at Swift. So that athleticism, it's just easy to see why the Tigers like that one. It's, there's sometimes you go, man, those guys can really, truly value. No knocking the Tigers. I think they do a good job, but that's not one that you really gotta pin too hard and look too far in the future. So he'll be fun to keep watching. Hopefully, I don't know, it'll be fun to see how that shakes out this spring with him down in Oceanside, but hopefully he gets in there and we can watch him play down there early. I know they'll probably push some people around this spring. He'll get some at-bats, but hopefully we can watch him out there running around that outfield, tracking down some balls early this spring.
Hey, I looked at him when he left. I said, good decision earlier this year. I said, you're going to be in my neck of the woods now. But he's got a long way. Let's hope I'm still kicking it then.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he was really fun to watch. Hopefully he does get to see some at bats here at that preseason Shipyard tournament, because he's going to be exciting to watch. Even though they have a lot of exciting players over there with the Land Sharks. So we'll see. As Sammy was saying that, I had a special hat on over here, but we won't put that back on. We don't want to hurt any feelings here. So I'm going to jump over to another arm that was really impressive on the day, and that is Andrew McLaughlin, 2024 from Ashley Ridge. Going to be a nice little 1-2 punch over there at Ashley Ridge. We'll talk about that in a second. But fastball was up to 87. High-waisted kid really threw the piss out of the ball. Yeah, coach, shake your head. Changeup was 80-82. Really good pitch with good movement. And then his slider came in at 73-75. He had control of all three pitches. Really loose arm, threw it really well. And he'll be at nice 2-punch behind Stryker, as we know, which will be two guys that we'll get to see down there at Shipyard PBR preseason tournament. So that'll be another exciting team to watch as they made it to the championship game last year, Coach.
Yeah, they did. That was a big barn. I think, in all honesty, didn't he pitch in that, if I remember correctly?
No, I think what he might have, because Van Sloot pitched before. Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, he was obviously a lot younger.
He wasn't up to 87 either.
No, he wasn't, but he battled and he threw strikes.
Yes,
and he
did.
makes pitches and he kept his team in it. It was a tight game.
Yes.
Tight game right there.
Yes.
So I'm gonna kind of slide back over to the offensive side here again. One of the players that probably stood out to me the most, kind of not a shock, but didn't know much about him, but a 2025 out of Marlboro Academy, Benjamin Milligan. This young man athletically really stood out. He's 6'3", 170 pounds. Good projectable frame, 95 miles an exit velocity, loose, quick hands, bat speed. Average exit velocity was 89 miles an hour. So obviously consistent barrels. For me, the sky's the limit with him. Showed power, showed bat speed, and more importantly, showed, a great swing through the zone, left-handed bat, obviously, that kind of takes everything. Also in the infield, right? Moved around, showed good action, good clean actions in the infield. So he was a great surprise for me, somebody that we didn't really know much about, know a ton about, and got a chance to watch him. So excited to see how he continues to progress as he gets bigger and stronger and keeps playing.
No doubt, Marlboro Academy, not confused with Marlboro County.
Yeah, exactly. Two different things.
I think we confused it a little early in the showcase, but we figured it out quickly.
Got back
maybe
on.
That was Sean Smith straightening us out. I don't know.
That was certain shout out later for that one as well.
I'm gonna jump into a guy I've seen a good bit, mostly in high school season. 2025, Bennett Edwards from Lawrence High School. Gotten a lot taller since I've last seen him. He's always been a stud behind the plate every time I've seen a high school game with Lawrence. But he came to the plate and showed more than his defensive capability, up to 90 exit velocity. Really athletic to be where he's at. So he's one that has progressed since I've seen him and is going to keep progressing, and it's going to be a big pickup for a college as well. So it'll be interesting to see how he continues this high school season, because I know he's going to be one of Lawrence's top guys.
No doubt. It's pretty easy for him too behind the plate,
Yes.
catch and throw.
Yes.
Very easy. You
Very quickly.
see a lot of those young guys that can maybe swing it, but they can't do that stuff. So it was easy for him. I'm gonna stay in the younger frame, 2026 at a Gray's Academy or Gray's Collegian here.
Come on,
Garrett
now, Coach.
Blankenship. Yeah, so bumble that one through there. But Garrett, good left-handed hitter, infielder, 5'9", 155-pound frame, obviously still growing as a freshman, but showed a very smooth left-handed stroke. A little bit like Milligan talking about him, kind of a, smooth, easy, clean actions in the infield, ball nice and easy across the field. Sometimes we're trying to get these velo ratings, guys change their arm action, trying to do some stuff, but he kind of played it as you're supposed to as a normal infield, different slots, different throws, moved well around there. So it'll be fun to watch Garrett, obviously as a freshman, continue to progress, but that bat, not a ton, right? Like you talked about a couple of these other guys, not a ton of extreme exit velocities for these younger guys, but a lot of consistent barrels, for these younger guys. You're really more so watching the swing, watching the path, and he showed off a good clean bat path with some quickness in there. And obviously that strength will come as he continues to mature. So Garrett was a good surprise as well for us to have him running around down here at the PSA South.
PSA. Hashtag to the top.
To the top.
I'm going with my, I said this is going to be my last guy, but I just thought of another one who will come right after you. Never mind. Sammy apparently is done. So I'm going to go two guys. One end's going to be a quick one. But my guy is Jay Riddle, 2024 from Trinity Collegiate. big power arm, erratic at times. Fastball was up to 87, but it's a really heavy ball. High-waisted kid, very tall with some strength. Changeup came in at 72, curveball at 76. If he could figure out that zone, he's going to be one to watch. Fastball spin was 2,300. So
I will add a note on him. He came to the post one PD Scout Day, and he's already kind of cleaned up a little bit between the two events, a little bit of the mechanics and a little bit of the accuracy up there. So obviously looking like he's progressing the right way. So again, he showed some of that strength in the back end of the fall, but you roll into here. So hopefully he's going in that right direction with that arm strength and cleans that up. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, no doubt. It'll be fun to watch him too. And I'm going to go to my last guy. Sammy has no clue who I'm about to talk about. 2024 from Berkeley High School, Gavin Edens, prototypical Berkeley High School player. He was up to 90 on the exit velocity, but it's kind of like I talked about with Oakley Aguilar. He's going to hit those balls line drive. He's going to move runners. Going to be a great high school player for Berkeley. So he's going to be another exciting one to watch for the Stags as they try to repeat.
No doubt. And he did a lot of those things last year, helping those guys.
Yes, he did, Coach.
So it's I'll tell you one thing, they know how to figure it out down there. They know how to get the job done. And I was joking with him during the event too. I said, hey, last time we had you we were down here in Charleston for that preseason open ID last year. I go, the weather was a little bit nicer this year than it was last year. Last year was about 30 degrees with all that wind coming. It was about 55, 60 degrees this past weekend. So we obviously picked a better weekend this year than we did last year. Not battling ice pellets.
Thank gosh. God. Hey, I think next weekend's supposed to sleet. So we're glad we got these over with and out of the way, so we ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, heck, getting them both out of the way. We got both events. We had great weather, great facilities.
Great turnout.
Great turnout. We're almost at, between the two, close to 200 kids. We got a chance to watch close to 200 talented players around this state,
to the top,
PBRSC to the top. So it was, for us, obviously we touched on these things, right? Leading into them, how helpful they are for us leading into the preseason, kind of identifying some guys and for us, but for the players themselves to get a bunch of their numbers up, kind of show that hard work they've done over the winter. And, we've touched on it a lot, right? These guys have progressed the right way. Kids that have come, whether it's been a year ago, 6 months ago, a few months ago, they're making the progressions and doing the things the right way. So that's always fun for us to watch these guys making that jump. But obviously tremendous turnout, the parents, the coaches, the players, big thanks to those guys. I mean, we're lucky to watch close to 200 kids over those two events and very talented players that as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Always fun when you see that many kids, especially getting ready here for high school season, just to see how they progress in that time and show against, live arms when it comes to it. So I think you're going to pop to some shout outs here. We're going to start small and get big. So I'm going to shout out. Well, this one's like a big one for me here. I'm going to shout out Joshua Jackson for his fine picture taking skills, even though it probably gave me a heart attack yesterday trying to upload 3,300 pictures, Coach. They are all uploaded. There'll be some news on that coming forward. So stay tuned for that from Mr. Stewart here. So
big time shout out for Josh. He was a stud. He came 2 days, obviously back to back. Obviously, last weekend it was a little bit easier. He's 20 minutes from home up at Winthrop. This time he makes the 2.5 hour drive.
2.5 hour drive.
2.5 hour drive down to the Shipyard to work. Now showed up borderline on time, a little late, whatever. We'll give him a pass. But
he said that was the parents' fault. They made a wrong turn.
Yeah. But a humongous shout out. He did a tremendous job snapping photos on there.
Accumulated 5,000 pictures in 2 events. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's going to be fun moving forward. Trying to get these distributed. But anyway, we got another shout out. This one to Mr. Sean Smith for making the trek down after being a full-time adult now with a full-time job. I know he's loving those paychecks just a little bit. especially when you get out of college. I don't know. I think he might have spent a whole paycheck after he went back to Columbia Saturday night.
No doubt. And plus, he was showing off the shoes. He said he was able to buy a couple pair of shoes because he got.
Hey.
So, yeah, big shout out. And Sean, the one thing that always goes unnoticed with a lot of work Sean does is a lot of work afterwards, right? Like yourself, there's a lot of things that people, they see you guys at the events and, see you guys at games, but, Sean's been firing out,
yes,
stuff, 2 days afterwards. So we appreciate Sean coming back for, hopefully not his last go round, but, taking some time off of PBR South Carolina, coming back down and working, and unfortunately got to go back to his full-time job, but luckily he has one. But selfishly we'd like to take him back. So again, if any sponsors want to pay for him,
yeah, sponsors, we need them. Hey, we're growing the brand. We need a few sponsors here.
Big time shout out to Sean Smith.
Do you have another shout out before I get to the big one? I'll go ahead and shout out Shipyard Park and Jason for hosting us for preseason All-State South and allowing us to use 2 fields so that we could accommodate 100+ kids. So without those guys, as well as Coach Regina said, went through this would not be possible over the last 2 weekends.
100%. Both those facilities kind of opened the doors and let us have access to everything we needed and wanted, and kind of let us make it our home. So we appreciate everything those guys do. Without great facilities like that, we can't run these great events we've had and get the great players there. So obviously you get a facility like that, it kind of gets kids that want to be able to come. We had kids come down from the upstate just because they wanted to come to the Shipyard Park. So it
PBR's home away from home.
Home away from home. And we can't wait to get back there in about a month.
Yeah, that's right. Woohoo! I'm fired up, Coach. So here is our big shout out. It will have already been released on social media by now by the time this podcast goes out. So we want to, this will be number 3 for the Junior Futures. We want to say a big congratulations to States Far on his commitment to the South Carolina Gamecocks, 2026 from Spartanburg High School. Number 3 off the board from the Junior Futures. We got Wake Forest, Clemson, and South Carolina. Look at that, Coach. Like, who made that team? Who made that team?
With more to come, you know what I mean?
There's
more to come. There's a lot of those guys that have been talking to coaches, and and I, just like yourself talking to States the other day, he says to this day that group of players still talk about that experience they had down in Lake Point at the Junior Future games and how much fun they had, and not only the fun and having the competition, but getting a chance to play in front of all those coaches, and not to say that we're the reason why, but it's just a little small piece of the puzzle. Those guys get to go down there and get to perform, and heck, it's all up to them anyway. They performed and played well that entire week. So he says it's awesome. They still, he did tell me it's a little upset though that he won't be able to come to another Futures game because he'd be committed, but it's all right. We're lucky we got a chance. And hey, I know you got something in the works that's going to come out, but States wasn't only just a Junior Futures guy for us.
No, he was not. So stay tuned to that little graphic that's going to come out here soon.
Fun graphic.
Yeah, a little fun graphic. That's what happens when you attend PBR South Carolina events, Coach.
No doubt. Get some love out there. Kind of get it out there.
Especially with those JFJs too. Look, JFGs. I can't even see my letters right. But it's been a long day, Coach. So yeah, hey, great content coming out as always, which will hop me into our next one. Next week's podcast will be the high school preview show podcast from PBR South Carolina with an added guest of Mr. Austin Smith. Really smart guy. He probably going to make picks equivalent to how Sean Smith made football picks. So stay tuned for that one. But that'll roll next week as we make some of our picks for all classifications, as well as some sleeper teams coming up. And we will unveil the Power 25. So that'll be a big show next week that you don't want to miss. And we'll start having these high school previews roll out. Coach has been filled out, as well as our Shipyard preseason tournament content. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
A lot of stuff coming out. Obviously finishing up. You just guys got a chance to see my daughter floating around the background of the screen right there. But a lot of we're still getting a ton of content coming out from preseason All-State North, and we'll get the content rolling out here from preseason All-State South. So obviously, like you talked about earlier, Coach, just being able to touch on a few of these guys, and we'll get really in depth, with these guys, with the stat stories and the quick hitters and the superlatives and track man stories and on and on and on, and the Swift stories. So
hey, but that's not even the best part. The best part of the TikTok's going out.
TikTok,
hey, Sterling's already up to 28.5K. So, I mean, what are we doing here?
I'm just waiting for that special one of a possible fungo hitter action is the word on the street.
I think there's a number 7 that might be a little bit better.
Very questionable. Very questionable. Very questionable.
We're not going to talk about that either. We don't want to get in trouble on the Palmetto Dugout show here.
Keep it clean. Like we told Coach over it, we keep it clean.
Keep it PG. Keep it PG.
Yeah.
So, hey, I think that wraps us up, Coach.
That's about it.
So from all of us here at PBR South Carolina, have a great week.